Well, I took over the Gauthier firm, which was a famous law firm, and I took it over about 6 months before Katrina happened, and because we're here in New Orleans, all that big tobacco suit and everything was launched from New Orleans, and I took the firm over, had a lot of responsibility, only had about 6 months or something to feel good about. I grew up I didn't grow up in a house like this or success stuff. My father made $39 the year I was born, so I grew up very, very poor, and I had climbed what appeared to be the top of the mountain to get to head of this famous law firm. I had moved boxes to get a job, to sneak my way into the firm, and here I was running it. But I had 6 months to feel good about it, and then Katrina hadn't wiped us out.
Oh my gosh!
And it didn't just wipe us out.
Yeah.
It wiped out an American city, right? And it didn't wipe out an American city for a week or a month. It decimated it, right? I mean, completely. You couldn't get into the city for 3 months.
Man.
It was bad. And what I saw was people, everybody that I knew, devastated. But we had all, most of us, we had attained, we had our businesses or our homes or our things, and we paid insurance, right? I mean, that's what you do in America. That's how the economy works. If you buy something, you invest in something. Sometimes you can't buy it without insurance, right? The law requires it, or the mortgage requires it. So most people in New Orleans had insurance. I had insurance. Everybody I knew, all my employees had insurance in their homes. And so after the shock of a big disaster like this, and it's happening now, you think, okay, I can do this. I'm all right. I can pick myself up. Yeah, my kid's bedroom's destroyed. My business is destroyed. Things are done. But you know what? I'll survive. I prepared for this, right? I've taken some of every little bit and I put it away, paid it to a company to protect me, right? There's a lifeboat here. Yeah, the ship's sinking, but there's a lifeboat. I can get on it, right?
Think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
And then what happens is it's sinking, and then they don't drop the boats. And that's what happened in New Orleans. And so the Attorney General, I got in contact with the Attorney General of Louisiana at the time, and we started seeing the insurance companies just walking away from people's lives, and they were doing it in ways that were wrong. They're wrongfully denying the claims, and so the Attorney General hired me to police the conduct of the insurance companies, and we've caught the insurance companies doing things, literally forging documents to deny policyholders, to deny people. And I saw people devastated. It's not just losing everything, because when you lose everything, you go, okay, well, I'll pick myself up. But when you lose something and then you get slapped with an injustice, like, wait a second, I did the right thing here.
Yeah, like the security that you have in your insurance is the one thing you're hanging on to.
Right.
You're like, okay, like we have insurance.
Right.
Like it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
And then that gets pulled out from underneath you. I mean, you must just feel like you're free falling, with like no hope.
And it's worse than having your hopes dashed.
Yeah.
Because there's a feeling of injustice with it. It's like, wait a second. For decades, I haven't been buying that new thing. I haven't been doing that thing. I haven't spending I've been paying it to you
Doing the right
to
thing.
protect me.
Yeah.
And you promised me that you'd be on my side. You promised me that I'd be in good hands. That you promised me when this would happen, you'd be my good neighbor.
Yeah.
And guess what? Where are you? You're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a feeling of desperation. Now, what happens in these situations, what happened back then, same thing that's happening now, is the insurance companies, see, they're smart, right? They're not just smart, though. They have all our money, right? So right now, the insurance industry is sitting on $822 billion of our cash. Yeah. And they get to do what they want with that money. And instead of paying it, what's happened with insurance over the last many decades is it's become a war chest that they now have. And your insurance companies, what you find out, they're not on your side. They can't be on your side. Why? Because they have your money and you're asking for it. They're adverse to you. So they take that money. They took it in Katrina. That's what they're doing now. They take that money and they hired lobbyists instead of paying people.
They're using your money to defend themselves.
Yes, they're using their money to prevent your money from going back to you. Okay,
so
and
slimy.
But that's what happens.
Yeah.
But it's not you got to look past what the advertising is. And all of your money, part of your policy premiums, pays defense lawyers and lobbyists. It doesn't pay people on your side, right? So what happened in Katrina was terrible, but we disclosed a lot of bad stuff, and we rebuilt the city. And I then went on the road to talk about what the companies would happen. And I'd go to another disaster area, and the same thing would happen.
Right?
It was many. It was after hurricanes or different things. I went to one after that, and then, the last major one, where if you take it and you say, let's take a whole area that was decimated, was Superstorm Sandy, right? The tri-state area was decimated, and the insurers did the same thing, and I heard the same stories. And what happens? The insurance companies run to Washington, and with their lobbyists say, this isn't us. Don't look at us. Government, you bail these people out, right? Your government, you put a pot up, and they don't pay. And so I was pointed it's called co-liaison counsel for plaintiffs by the federal court. I filed most of the claims in Superstorm Sandy, at 80% of the original claims, and I fought that. And what was interesting what's interesting now, nothing changed, and that was. Nothing. I was very exasperated by Superstorm Sandy because I'd been doing it for over a decade of trying to expose the stuff and trying to make a difference. And I had made a lot of money for myself. I had bought a jet and a fleet of Ferraris, and lived in a mansion and beach houses, and I had wealth beyond my dreams, and I had gotten things for my clients, but I didn't affect the industry. The industry didn't. It got worse, not better. And
the insurance industry.
The insurance industry.
Okay.
The insurance industry got worse in the claims handling and the denials. The company that handled claims started getting bigger. These big multi-billion-dollar corporations that shield insurance companies now exist. And I saw it in Superstorm Sandy. I discovered that some of the same companies, not even just the same companies, the same people that forged documents in Katrina were forging documents for insurance companies to deny policyholders in Superstorm Sandy. And I did the same thing. I went to the Attorney General and got them, and actually got a major insurance executive arrested in handcuffs. It went on 60 Minutes. And so we got over 144,000 property owners reopened. And then I thought, okay, finally, right? Like now there was a bunch of press on it. It was 60 Minutes, and Frontline did stories about what we had done, and we had Senate hearings about what the insurance companies are doing. I'm like, okay, finally, And in that battle, I invested personally tens of millions of dollars, more than $30 million, into fighting it for my clients. And I ended up losing money, even though we got hundreds of millions of dollars collected for my clients, and others. We lost money, and I thought we'd fix it, but we didn't. And when COVID-19 happened, it was when this was starting to come. Like I saw it in China. I got a business I'm also an entrepreneur. I got a business in China, and I started happening there, and then it was coming to Italy, and I got friends in Italy I was calling, speaking to, and it's come to the U.S. And I'm saying to myself, I know what's going to happen. Like, for me, it's like another big disaster. It's like Groundhog Day. Like, I've seen this day before. I know they're not going to pay.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. And don't forget, there's a complete archive of every episode at restaurantunstoppable.com. Peace.